yep. All right, welcome back, Pokemon Go players, to another episode of the Purified Podcast. Today is August 2nd, 2020. I am your host, Luis Palacios, with my co-host, Chris.
Hello, guys. It's your boy, Pokemon Trigger, please.
How's it going, my good man?
Ooh, it's been a good week.
Has?
It's been a very good week.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, as you guys probably have noticed by now, we are not alone. We are actually joined by, once again, by our wonderful friend and now North American champion here, continental champion, SpeediestChief.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you? Luis, Chris, thanks so much for having me on. It was so much fun last time.
Yeah, it was hilarious that, well, I don't think it's hilarious. It's amazing that from the time we had you before, now we're here. And now, before you were just another competitor. Now we're like...
Just another.
just another competitor. Now we have you here as the North American Continental Champion in the Celt Arena tournaments. Man, it has been a wild ride for you, hasn't it?
It really has. Past couple of weeks, pretty crazy. It's just, honestly, guys, I don't think that there was a moment when I kind of knew that something special was going to happen. It was just kind of every single round, you just kind of go in with the best game plan that you can and just play as well as you can. And on that particular day, my game plan worked really well. Yeah. So I got really, really lucky.
Well, we're definitely going to be talking about all your experiences, your matches, whatever that you really want to share with us. That's great. Before we completely begin with the interview, guys, don't forget that we are also part of the Professor Network. So please check us out at theprofessornetwork.com/PurifiedPodcast. There are wonderful people who have, we've been able to join with and, share the wonderful world of Pokemon with you guys. So make sure you click on that link if you can and make sure that you, you check us out for sure. But okay, with that out of the way, introductions out of the way, the Rayquaza is done, so that's good. Sorry, I'm trying to like make sure that everybody gets like a piece of everything here. So, all right, but let's get to know Chief. You've been here before, but we have probably some new viewers and some new listeners. If you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself, what you do, where you're from, whatever that you can tell us here.
Hi, everybody. So my name is SpeediestChief 2 in the game. My real name is Will. I will say I moved to Tampa, Florida in 2017 and was quickly adopted by the great community here. My first cup was the Kingdom Cup back last year. And things have just been awesome since then. But yeah, I love Tampa, Florida. I love the community. And when I first moved here, Pokemon Go was one of the first friend groups that I actually made when I moved here. So the game just connects people in incredible ways.
Yeah, that is true. You definitely wouldn't think of what, people like Pokemon until, Pokemon Go came out, and then you're all of a sudden you're like hanging out with them, going raiding, things like that, and you're just like, well, okay, that works, I guess. But that's That's the gist of it for Mr. Chief, of course. Having a wonderful community that we all love, and Pokemon is a universal game. Anybody can love it. Especially now more than ever. But yeah, definitely. So Chief, again, champion here once again. Let's go ahead and get some questions. Chris, you want to read out that first question that we have there?
Oh, for sure. So since the start of the season, what was your goal to go on? Like, were you trying to hit ace like within like the first 3, or just right before the end? Because I know ace was my goal, and then they just added on another, and then they added on another.
Yeah, absolutely. So last season, I finished as a challenger, and I remember it because it was the very last cup. It was Mirror Cup of last season, and our local community leader, Lyndon Ryu, he went through this crazy gauntlet of like the best players in Tampa. He went, I think, 7-0, and just defeated everybody along the path. And after that tournament concluded, the last cup of the season, he was dubbed an ace trainer. So my goal definitely this season was to hit ace. Once that happened for me, my goal kind of shifted to elite. I remember talking with Arrow right before our decisive round 8 match in the Continentals prelims. And we got on a call real quick once we saw that we were paired. And we both kind of were happy about it, but a little bit nervous and a little bit kind of wishful that it would have been somebody else who would have had to fight. But I remember speaking with him, and I said, yeah, Arrow, my only goal right now is to hit elite. And he said, okay, well, go ahead and tell me what you're leading, and I'll wrap this up for us. And well, luckily I didn't tell him when I was leading. We played our matches out. But yeah, elite was my goal for a long time. And then suddenly, I started to win these matches, and just one thing kind of snowballed into another. And like I mentioned on a couple other talks, just carrying the gratitude the whole way was really, really what pushed me through each match.
Well, I want to say that is a wonderful thing to say, and at the same time, were you expecting to get this far when you started this? Like when you started the season, like did you expect it to go all the way? Or were you just like, I'm going to just play the matches, see how it goes, things like that? Like, what were your thoughts in that regards?
Yeah, so I'm sure that a lot of people kind of have the same kind of thought when they're in a high stakes environment. I know Pokemon Go and the Silph Arena is something we do for fun, but of course we want to do well. So I think a lot of people have this kind of 2 voices in their head. One is telling them to just play their game, just do what they've been doing all season because it's been working, play as well as you can, and just kind of be happy with the outcome and however things turn out. But the other voice in my head, which I was able to silence, which I'm really glad because it was pretty nasty. The other voice was, this is going to be your only chance to ever get this far. There are a lot of players that have a much better win rate, or they're much more consistent, or they're more technically skilled that aren't in the position that I'm in. So I have to make the most of every single moment because who knows if this is ever going to happen. So luckily I was able to block out that louder voice and just kind of focus on the moment at hand. I remember in round 1 of the championships against Hump Styles, his team countered mine perfectly, and my only goal was to not get totally blown out. And once we got through round 1, it was all just kind of icing on.
Well, that's great. I mean, especially when you start getting against the bigger competitors out there, and then when you start the Continentals, you're like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? So it's a good thing that, you found a niche to make sure that you're like, okay, this is just maybe another battle that you're doing. You know your matches, you know your ways. You have seen this probably, so many times after, so many matches in the competitor scene. But it's just like you say, you gotta turn something off and then just make sure, just focus, just if you win, you win. If you're not, you're not. But I mean, if you win, of course, you can continue on going with such a great length, and you did it. You got to that length, and every time I see you in Twitter in Silph Arena, I see, oh my goodness, okay, he's finished. He got into continental qualifiers, and then after qualifiers, you got into. I saw how the qualifiers went, and you literally lost the first match because I was watching the entire thing, and then all of a sudden you start winning and winning and winning. You win a full 7-1 in that match. I mean, you got like third during that continentals, and then after that, just like continentals in the finals and all that. It's just like it's crazy. It's crazy how that kind of type process comes to me, because for me something. I mean, I love competitive stuff, but when I get to the nitty gritty, I mean, once I get to like something it can get you down so much that you're just like, okay, why am I supposed to be doing? So many people are better than me, but if you just grind it, I'm pretty sure that you get just as far as you can. But just the way you do things is insane. So
yeah, I have a couple of points I could share about that round 1 loss.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when the Continentals prelims started, I had just gotten back from grabbing a coffee. I admitted I have a Starbucks thing, so I went and got my Starbucks coffee, and I got back, and I had about 15 minutes until it started. So I did a couple of warm-up matches. I just left the sound off, and I'd seen on Twitter that day that the sound was broken in PvP battles. And I read it. I said, okay, well, it's iOS, but it's not going to happen to me. There's no way that'll happen to me. So for the past 6 months, I've been using sound to count fast moves. And I'm actually working on that video right now. Right before we got on the call, I was working on it. I'm trying to get some videos out on YouTube for you guys, and one of them is going to be the prelims. And as you can see, in that first game, my sound bar keeps on popping up on the left side. Like I keep clicking sound because I think something's wrong with my phone. But that first game, I was actually able to win, and I lost the second 2. But Jay's fan did me a lot of favors because he is an awesome player, and he climbed that ladder really, really high. So my buckle score went up because he kept on winning as well.
Right.
So even though I lost that first game, he actually helped me in the long run.
That's great. I mean, how the Swiss runs go
That's a good
about
point.
it. Yeah, definitely. One thing for sure that I do remember, you tweeting out to Niantic and saying, hey, I mean, I'm right at this tournament, and my sound is not working. I'm like, well, that's not good. So I kind of knew that it was the case when it comes down to it, just because of your tweet. But I was like, hopefully this doesn't actually affect the entire tournament. And I know a lot of people are suffering because of it, but because
I'm still a little embarrassed. That was a rage tweet. I just said something to the effect of, if you don't care about your game, why should I? And I know that there's a lot of blame here on both sides. Like it might be an iOS thing, it could be a Pokemon Go app thing. I'm not technically skilled to know the difference. So we love Niantic and everything they do, but in that moment, I was pretty.
I mean, trust me, I have my fair share of rages to Niantic, and even though I love what they do, it's just like sometimes I wish they would just like, why?
it's just because we love the game so much, and we put so much time into it. We just want it to work.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, when it comes down to those kind of things, I know it's probably, when you say it's either Niantic's or the game's fault, it could be your phone, it could be something like that. Just gotta keep on going, see how it goes, how it works out. We know we all had the experience, especially recent with how GoFest has come around. So we'll see how that one works out for sure. So Chris, you want to go ahead and ask him the next question?
Oh yeah. So I remember you saying before that you were a Pokemon fan, like before Pokemon Go. So I wanted to ask you this question: what would you name the next Pokemon professor if you got the choice? I'm very curious.
Well, Professor Purelighter, obviously.
Oh.
I mean, come on. Is this a real?
Oh my goodness.
I feel like
we could also just call him Ken if you want to,
yeah. Well, you've got. I think there's like a tree and flower theme here. Professor Oak, Professor Willow,
Magnolia. Yeah.
Magnolia. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite tree. I have a least favorite tree, pine tree.
We'll just call it.
Yeah, growing up in Mississippi, pine trees for miles, and the pollen gets everywhere.
Good point.
If anything, I mean, we already gone through a lot of different regions, so it really will depend on the region's tree. Like we have, I can't even remember the names of all the Pokemons now. The Pokemon professors. Thank you so much.
There's so many. Hey, I don't blame you at all. There's so many. I named off the 2 that I'm familiar with, so you know more than me.
Yeah, probably. So yeah,
too many.
Kind of goes like that. Okay, hold on 1 second. I may have to fix something here. There we go. Perfect. All right. So, well, we can continue on, and I'm actually gonna ask this question because I gotta check something out real quick, guys. So, Has winning Continental made you a lot more confident in the Pokemon Go PvP scene? Has this boost up, a lot of that probably like nervousness that you had at the beginning? But now that you're champion, what do you think? Like, do you think that finally you're able to like get to where all those competitors are? And now that you are, but I mean, do you think that now the confidence is more boosted up thanks to that?
Yeah, that's actually a really insightful question because I know a lot of people, especially since we went to all remote tournaments. When you're at your in-person tournaments and something doesn't go right, you can always kind of walk over and talk to a friend and say, "Oh yeah, well, they had Rhydon in the back, and my last Pokemon was a poison type, so I lost it." And you kind of share that experience and say, "Oh well, that stinks, but you'll get them next time." But when you're doing all remotes, you aren't really in that same environment. Friends can kind of help you and pick you up emotionally and mentally. So I definitely felt like I had something to prove competitively this season. There are a lot of players that are just insanely good that are also content creators as well, and they're popping up all the time. I mean, though Technical is streaming, FP6 is amazing. King is obviously like the the Fort Knox of Pokemon knowledge, and he's just incredibly good. So as a content creator and as a competitor, I did have some things in my mind kind of were pushing me to find my place in the community. So again, I think there are a lot of players that are really good and they all have their different strengths. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I was practicing for the Continentals Championships, I had a kind of a war room, if you want to call it that, where I had about 12 or 15 friends. And at any point during the day, I would just send a message and say, "Hey, can you run Humpstyle's team?" Or, "Hey, can you run Doombug's team against me?" And some of those guys, because of the situation, I would tell them, if you would mind leading something for me so I could see how it works, and just trial and error over and over and over again. I mean, some of those guys played those teams so well that I just didn't see a way that I could win. And again, like it all comes back to the skill cap of the players. And on that particular day, I just had the right reads. I had the right leads as well. Pardon my rhyming, and things kind of turned out. But yeah, competitively, I think the monkey is off my back. I think I'm ready to go back into YouTube and see what I can offer. Everybody has a different voice and everybody's unique. And when I ask my friends what they think I should start publishing, they all give me the same answer. They say, "Just be yourself."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I know a lot of people on Twitter were saying we're gonna watch it no matter what you make. We're watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is
it's. I mean, I did see that you stopped doing the content creation. I want to say because you were busy, but at the same time, you wanted to concentrate on those kind of matches in those kind of days. What were like? I think if I go to your channel right now, the last one was a month ago, and that was when the Sorcerer's Cup was announced and things like that. So, was getting into the whole focus on continentals and everything, was that the niche to say that I couldn't post the content that I wanted to post right now, or was it because there wasn't enough content out there right now?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think some of these guys like FP Sticks, Purple Kyogre, King, who post every single day, I really think they have just better systems in place than I had.
Right.
I was kind of just making the videos as I could, kind of asking friends for battle content or trying to make my own every single day. And I feel like a different kind of approach might be a better thing that's more sustainable for me. Mm-hmm. So with my videos in particular, I know a lot of players can just go on and just make their video, make a couple points here and there. But I really do my best to try to kind of illustrate all the things that are going on in my mind. So for a typical YouTube video, I might do 3 or 4 takes of it just so I can make sure I get everything in that I want to say. So I feel like, of course, I had a lot of focus competitively speaking. I didn't expect to do as well as I did, but I wanted to do as well as possible. But I do think at the same angle, getting to a point where I can make content in a way that fits my lifestyle was really important to me as well. And I think I'm almost there.
Yeah, that's definitely a moment of content creation. It's like, you're 5.5 in subscribers. I'm pretty sure that went fully up since you become the champion there. Because I think I was like around 4 point something when I actually saw it last time. But finding that right balance when it comes to playing the game, making content, doing battles, doing tournaments, sometimes it gets a lot of you, especially because you still have a life to live, and you gotta you gotta work, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So it's not an easy way of getting things done. So that's why something like Chris and I do is like when we have the time, we go ahead and stream, because at least in streaming you can get the audience you want. You don't have to worry about too much on the editing side, of course, just like I mentioned before. But if you can find your right balance, the days that you can work on videos, days that you can post them and get ready to go, or when you want to play the game, because this game is just getting too insane.
Yeah, there's so much to do. You're never done.
Yeah, so it's kind of those things. So, I have, myself, I put in the shoes into what content creation is, especially for Pokemon Go, because I wanted to see how that went, especially since, a lot of people out there were like, they want to hear the news, hear what the best here than there. So once I found what was right for me that I can do with the time that I have, plus, all my lifestyles and everything, here we are. That's what I wanted to do. And this is what we're doing. And, I'm been happy so far since Chris and I has been starting this podcast. So I'm sure that once you find your niche, once you find the actual time to, organize yourself, then everything else will seem easier and easier by the moment. So yeah,
Thank you for that.
Yeah, definitely. So so what's next? What's next for the big SpeediestChief? What's your next move aside from probably YouTube in your Pokemon Go career, or whatever else you want to do really right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So around mid to late August, we're looking at the World Championships for the Silph Arena. I'm going to be one of 4 representatives. The others, Europe, Asia Pacific, and of course South America as well. So I'm planning to practice a lot for that. I'm going to try and pick up some quality sparring partners. So I feel like I have a lot of responsibility representing both Canada, which of course is insanely stacked with battlers, and North America as well. So I just want to do my absolute best to represent everybody. So I'll definitely be practicing quite a bit for that. I will say I've been getting a lot of encouragement to start streaming as well.
Okay.
So that's something I'm looking into. I might need to upgrade my computer, but I'm getting some help from some close friends in terms of layouts, getting all the technical things ready. So
Yeah.
I'm exploring that as well. But again, going back to the balance, maybe I'll take a look at everybody else's streaming schedules, try not to like overlap my time to them, and see how we can figure that out. Because if you go on Twitch at any point, you can find an awesome high quality streamer. So
Yeah.
I just had to figure out what I can offer that people aren't already.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own niche when it comes to streaming, and it just really depends on what you really want to do, or what you really want to like get into, like the kind of content that you don't want to like follow. But at the same time, it starts as like copying somebody. It starts like you begin doing something that you liked, that you watched somebody do, and then you just kind of try to do it yourself. That's why we shiny hunt in Pokemon Sword and Shield. We show now, we can show raids in Pokemon Go. If you actually go right now on Twitch, I'm pretty sure Reversal is doing all the same thing that I'm doing and that I would be doing right now. So
Yeah.
it just comes to like point the kind of community you're gonna create if you start streaming. It's people, of course, people will come, and people that they'll be like, hey, I'm gonna follow him on Twitch, and hopefully he gets to that point where affiliation and all that comes through. It's just like when I was streaming normally one day, and then all of a sudden I get Reversals just like rating me on Twitch, and I'm like,
Oh, that's awesome! Are you serious?
yeah, he came with like 400 plus people, and all of a sudden I'm just like, I have no idea how this happened, but it did. Thank you so much, everybody. It's like, and then I hit affiliated, so I'm sure.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so once you get to people to know you, and people do know you, like they've seen your channel, they've seen the kind of like accomplishments that you had over the last few months and everything. I'm sure that once you start streaming, you will find that community that people want to listen to you and hear you, and then it'll just skyrocket from there. And things like that is just it gets to a crazy point where you just gonna feel like you need to be there every day, which things like that. And well, yeah, that's basically what streaming should be. And again, it's all about the community. Once you create your community, they will follow. And whatever you do, wherever you go, whatever you're streaming, if you want to take a day off from your regular streaming schedule and just stream something else you like to do, you'll figure it out. And that's when people, that's what they want to come for. They come for you, not they come for specifically for you, and then after that, whatever game you're playing. But so
That makes total sense.
Definitely, definitely. So, we're also excited, really excited, because I don't think Silt Arena has posted. I don't know if I may have probably missed it, but did they announce Worlds yet?
So there's no official announcement yet. We're kind of looking at dates. I can't reveal the specific dates, of course,
definitely.
but yeah, we're looking at mid to late August.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know. At least we have a little time to prepare and all that. I'm sure you're the grinding whatever meta they will have specifically for that. So,
Yeah.
once we hear from them, I'm pretty sure that we'll cover in the podcast here, and we'll of course wish you more than luck, because we want to see you. We want to see the world champion SpeediestChief. We've all been wanting it for such a long time, and I think it's time. We want to see that title on the back of that screen over there that you have there, on the back of that next one.
Just another battle.
Just another battle. Another battle. But yeah. So Chris, you want to actually ask the next question now?
Oh, dude, this almost ties in. Why are you so lucky? I know everyone's been seeing your posts, especially since GoFest. Oh my gosh, a rank 1 shiny Azu? Are you joking?
Yeah. Funny story. I was actually in Orlando with two of my best friends in the community. Excuse me, Lyndon Ryu and Jangles, who is our Orlando overlord. He just knows the area so well. So we decided to do day 1 of GoFest with him, and we were just driving around. He said, "Hey, my buddy just messaged me and said there's a rank 1 Meryl over here, and we better go get it." And we're driving over there. It's like 3 or 4 minutes away, and I think I can't remember which one of them it was, but somebody said, "Wouldn't it be crazy if it was shiny?" And we said, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." So we're driving over there, and we kind of park, and they click on it first. Hasn't popped up for me yet. Neither of them are shiny, and I click on it, and it's freaking green, and I'm just like totally floored by it. Azu is such a big investment. It's like 300,000 dust to get that guy ready, but of course the rank 1 is exactly what you want. And every time I see an Azu in GBL and it's shiny, I think nice flex, but I'm pretty sure it's not ranked. You have to look at the CP to be sure. But now I can say with confidence that mine is.
Yeah,
so definitely will be powering up that Azu and featuring it in some videos very soon. I will say I was a little nervous because I don't know if you were going to mention this later, Luis, or not, but the level 50, kind of the level cap being increased to level 50 might be coming. So I was a little bit concerned that powering something up might not work out how I imagined it to, but I don't know if there's going to be a CP rebalance or what exactly is going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger.
Yeah, so we did actually mention the level cap and the mega evolutions in the last podcast. Mostly because we were like right fresh off the end of GoFest, and we were going ham on it, raids all around, trying to get the shinies that we wanted to, PvP, Pokémon, and all that stuff. Right after that, it was a little later than usual, but we did actually got to do a podcast that day, and we did mention what was going on in those through those events and what was the actual news. But we'll give your thoughts in just a moment. We'll definitely have a question for you there.
Guys, if you're listening to this and you enjoy the podcast episode, check out that episode as well. I'm going to do that right after the show.
There you go. Trust me, we're probably going to be like that tired when you listen to that podcast. We were like done that day, but we were happy to talk about our experiences for sure. So, but awesome. Following that to that, and before we actually ask the 6th question, Chris, I'm pretty sure that we want to actually, how was your GoFest experience? Like, what you got, how many shinies you get, how many, aside from the ASO that we already know, what kind of PvP months were you able to catch and all this stuff? How was your GoFest,
Yeah, it was great. I think on Saturday I caught around 1,200 Pokemon, and then Sunday was like 950. I know those are rookie numbers compared to some people. I mean, some people just go totally wild for GoFest. But honestly, gentlemen, my favorite day was day 2. I just felt like there was so much to do. It was kind of almost like overwhelming in the moment, because you want to do the Giratina raids and you want that 15 attack Dialga, but you also want to knock out these rockets and get your Sableyes, and you want to do these catches, and all the spawns were available. It was just totally nuts. And I feel like day 2 is definitely my favorite, but day 1 I caught more. So we're always looking for more Stardust, and that's exactly what I got. In terms of good PvP catches, I got a few rank 1s, a few things here and there. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm still clearing out my bag, and I need to have it clean. by Magikarp Day. So
Oh
I'm
my
kind of
God.
pacing myself.
Yeah, we will be talking about that in our news later on, of course. But yeah, no, the Stardust run was actually pretty nice. I think I went close to 4 mil because I've been kind of saving things like that for the last few months. I haven't really actually done much PvP, and if I say so myself, especially now that raids are going on. But GoFest was an amazing experience. Either way, one way or another, we actually we blew up. Like so many things are happening, but we'll get to that to the neat and gritty of what the next few things are gonna be, of course, once it comes around. But it's great that you actually were able to do. I don't know, but you do seem to have every time I see a post from you and notice a Pokemon that you caught either through an event or something, you just get that rank 1. And I'm just like, why? How? You're only like an hour away from me, dude. I'm like,
it's not all sunshines and rainbows because, and this is just so nitpicky. I know rank 1 is really what you want, but if you do a Sylph Cup and you face off against a Gengar and you have your rank 1 Gengar, you just have to remember you have 0 attack. Mm-hmm. So if your opponent has even 1 attack, they're going to win CMP ties. Yeah, so there's always more to add. I will say that's one of my favorite things about Pokemon Go that I don't speak on as much as I should, is that every Pokemon you catch is unique. And although it's available to everybody, that's your Gengar, that's your Azumarill. It belongs to you and it's special. You never know. It could win you a battle in a moment that you don't expect.
You sometimes I feel like when people are saying 0 attack is best for this PvP mon and this rank 1 and everything, but you don't take into consideration, even though you do the better damage in the long run, the CMP tie whenever you're actually facing the same one,
the mirror match, yeah,
kind of changes the mechanics of that. Okay, 0 attack, no, 1 attack, you're actually winning. Now you actually win this matchup because of this. I'm like, how does this work?
Exactly.
Niantic, please just implement speed into the game. That's all we need.
Yeah, there's always more to keep in mind, and that's just another kind of vector of the game. You can go out and hunt your rank 1s, but you also need some high attacks.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so while I get this Gibble raid going, because I need a shiny Gibble, and I've been wanting a shiny Gibble for the.
He can't stop.
I know.
He can't stop the
I think
raids.
I've done 3 raids while we're still talking here, so don't get me. Don't stop me now. Thanks God. All right, God. So Chris, you want to actually ask him that was supposed to be the previous question, but now the question now. So.
Oh yeah. So something I'm just trying to picture in my head, but I can't really. What genre of music do you listen to, and do you use it to help during YouTube videos or help with your battles? Keep you chill.
Yeah, good question. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty white bread as you can tell, but I do listen to a fair amount of rap. I just like I used to listen to rock, and I remember being a kid. I was probably maybe 14, and I'd grown up on rock music. Linkin Park, Metallica. I liked all that kind of stuff, and it's great. But then I started listening to rap, and there's just so much confidence, so much energy in the music. And you just feel like you're the baddest guy on the street. You can just do whatever you want to do. So if you really do want to get hyped, I do recommend that. I will say for most of my videos, I do use, for actually all of my videos, I use non-copyrighted music. And I like to do a lot of maybe dubstep or house music or a little bit of electronic, things like that. I just have a lot of energy, and I think kind of set the tone for the video itself. So sometimes if I'm just kind of working on a video, I put on a playlist, non-copyright music, whether it's cyberpunk or dance music or whatever it is. I do have a pretty wide berth of music I like. I'm not a big fan of modern country. I do like older country though. If I could say that, yeah.
I agree.
Like the pop country, I don't get it personally, but there's some older country that I still really appreciate. And then of course the oldies are great. I mean, there's just no other. You can't get the same good vibes from anything but Al Green. There's just something about it. It just takes you back.
Billy Joel.
Yeah, Billy Joel, another one, man. Like you can't replace the classics like that. So it just depends on the mood and where you're going.
Yeah, I gotta say I really do like your music choices. It definitely gets me pumped when I'm watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of music that just helps out and that kind of mechanics when it comes to it. Now, Even though I'm Hispanic, I like the Hispanic music and then American music. I do listen to anime music, and that really just helps me out, anyways. So
Hey, there you go. There you
you gotta
go.
listen
Oh
to
yeah.
the Naruto songs and everything, and you're just like, yep, this is the music for me. I don't care if I don't listen to it.
It was so funny because when I was getting ready for the call, I had a Naruto shirt on, but I was outside of the park earlier, and I wanted to change to a fresh shirt. So I put on my formal Naruto shirt. My informal one is
In the laundry right now, but So
in the laundry.
definitely. So we do have a question here in the chat. It says right here from Mishka or Miska, however you want to actually say it. But thank you for the question here. It says, can certain Pokemons be broken in PvP? He says, I have a Santa Hat Raichu, and a lot of times that Pokemon lags like 5 seconds on a charge move. Do you think that the custom Pokemon's route change the way that they play in PvP, or even for Chris, the question for him, do you think that it's just like lagging in parts of Niantic in this point?
Yeah, so I do think the costumes are primarily a cosmetic thing that they've implemented, where they've just kind of changed a few things. Just like if they were to change it to a shiny, they changed the color scheme, add the sparkles and things like that. I haven't seen cosmetics actually slowing down a Pokemon, but I will say, depending on what move you're using, there is a lot of desync in the game these days. So if you're using a one-turn move like Thundershock, or if you have Volt Switch, which is a slower 4-turn move, you can see a lot of different kind of behaviors. If you notice, on my Continentals Championships team, I didn't have a single Charmer, and I didn't have a single Confusion user or a Volt Switch user. And it's just because due to the desync that we have right now, the highest I was willing to go was a 3-turn move, which is Snarl, or something to that equivalent. And I just did not want a Hypno on my team. I didn't want Jirachi. And part of the reason is because the desync can seem like lag. So if you're having trouble with your Pokemon, maybe try to change the fast move if it doesn't destroy the composition of your team. But as far as the cosmetics, I haven't seen that be an issue. But who knows? Maybe somebody will come out with a study and prove me.
I mean, even before the desync, I just have never been a fan of moves like Confusion, but I definitely do see the appeal.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of glitches that they have to change, or they have to fix when it comes down to it. It was just like whenever you were catching the Santa Pikachu, the Pikachu actual hat will follow the Pokeball, so you're like moving around.
Oh,
with
okay.
It, so
It was kind of funny.
maybe they implemented that in PvP and we just don't know about it, I guess. But
Possible.
when it comes down to it, But yeah, thank you very much for the question there in the chat. If you guys want to keep asking questions, make sure you do. And I'm sure that I see Chris's face right now, and I'm pretty sure he wants to show
Gibble
it to us.
spawned here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no. Anyways. But yeah, so what are you excited for the future of this game? Like, we have so many things coming up, Mega Evolutions, Gen 6, any more global events that they're planning to do. What are you really excited for this game now that you're here? Like, there's so much. Let's see what the future of this game for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, honestly, gentlemen, the one thing I'm most excited for is Niantic's introduction of these Premier Cups. I think that is the coolest thing. And coming from the Sylph Arena, I mean, Sylph was ahead of its time. We've been doing this for over a year with these theme cups, whitelist of Pokemon that you can use. And I feel like what they did with Premier Cup was really interesting. It gives you a chance to use a lot of your maxed out Pokemon that aren't necessarily legendary. So it does define the meta in a way. You're not going to see the Giratinas and Articunos, things like that. And I really do think it's a fun format. I'm really looking forward to Ultra Premier Cup. And then, of course, I don't know if you guys know when it is, but that Pidgey Battle Day, I believe that's when they're doing the Flying Cup. So whenever they release more info about that, that's going to be a lot of fun. I really feel like, and this is just my personal 2 cents, I really feel like Sylph Arena was ahead of its time. But as GBL introduces more and more of these theme-type cups, Premier Cups, I feel like Sylph might need to change its format a little bit in order to remain viable, just because so many players will be doing it. Maybe introduce cash prizes or something like that. Just that kind of stuff comes to mind. But Premier Cups I'm super excited for, and of course all of the events. Niantic has no shortage of events these days, and part of the comeback to YouTube, I'm considering doing PvP guides to these events. I know some players will break it down and say, you need to hunt for the shiny of this or stack Ultra Balls for this. But I really think maybe there's a need in the community to do like hunt for this IV on your Swilus, or, catch your, here's one I thought of earlier, I think yesterday, catch your last Dino from your special research tomorrow, or excuse me, on Tuesday during the spotlight hour so you get more keys. Just kind of niche things like that.
Funny thing that you mentioned that, because
Yep.
a couple of gamings also put that tweet out today, and then everybody was like, "Well, you tell me this now."
Yeah, I still have mine saved.
Yeah,
Luckily.
no. I try to go through the shiny checks, and I'm just like, let me just catch this. I'm like, God dang it. So yeah, I mean, it's all understandable when it comes down to it. I think the Flying Cup hasn't been fully announced yet, but it's just been, saying we're gonna be doing it. I'm sure Pizza Day is gonna be, it's gonna be an interesting one for GBL for sure.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong though. Hopefully they'll probably release also the shiny during that time, so we'll see. That's usually when they do this kind of events for GBL, giving us a chance to catch third stage evolutions or second stage evolution shinies in the wild when it comes down to it. However, just like you mentioned, the Premier Cup and how Silt Arena needs to modify the way that they do things now. Do remember, Silt Arena is a fan-based community that we, has grown in immensely since the very first day of PvP being introduced into Pokemon Go. So yes, they're probably, having such a large community worldwide, and thanks to Niantic, because, you can't really go out anywhere to do it, just, remotely when it comes down to it. I know that, having cash prizes and everything seemed like a cool thing to add, but I do feel like in the long run, it's just going to like closely to implement the same way that what GBL is doing, so just to make sure, because I mean, Silt Arena, just like you said, innovation since the very first day, banning certain Pokemons, using different types of Pokemons, those kind of things really do feel like Niantic probably took, their respective contents for them, but they have to do it through their own way, but at the same time they have to go through so many layers of like authorization and things like that. So we can always have that type of community thanks to the Silt Arena, and we can always have practices thanks to them and to their to their website and everything. So guys, make sure you check out silt.gg. That is a wonderful place to meet so many people who are in the same community in the PvP scene. You'll meet, if you can meet such a great players, just like SpeediestChief here. And then, but in the end of the day, Niantic will do one thing, and that's how, the Pokemon Company, because the Pokemon Company just brings the joy of what Pokemon is. Niantic is just trying to implement that into our lives and everyday lives, because yes, that's how it is. While Silt Arena, a community base, just like a VGC in the regular main series games, like what A-Drive and Wolfie are doing in their scene, even though they don't have competitive Pokemon going around right now, they are, doing their own thing to make sure that the community stays ahead, or make sure they stay innovated through what Pokemon battling is, So if we can do that with Silt Arena, then GBL is just going to be another way to say, we can play to make sure we're best in the entire world officially from Niantic, but in the end of the day, the Niantic is one way, Silt Arena is one way, so hopefully they get to that point, and I need more passes.
Yeah. All the time.
All the time. Oh my goodness, I hate it when I do that.
Yeah, I think the only thing holding back Sylph is, Niantic Pokemon Go already gives you, you get the chance at Pokemon, you get Stardust. Sylph, you lose Stardust. But
Yeah.
that you're probably going to use once. And trust me, I love Sylph GG. It is so much fun fighting with all these very talented trainers, and you get to see their teams. It's amazing. But yeah, I think that's the only thing holding them back.
Yeah, and I'm sure Niantic, like again, they have taken what Silt Arena has created and want to implement it to their own, but they want to do it their own way. Now, leaderboards, came out, and that's basically the same thing that what Silt Arena is. They're now doing Premier Cups, which bans legendaries, and now these types of other cups that they're doing. I'm sure that with time they will learn to do their own thing, but Silt Arena will hopefully always be there for the community. So we'll see how that goes for the future of them too. Now, Chief, let me ask you, what is your favorite Mega Evolution that you're hopeful to get or have already ready to go?
Oh man, put me on the spot. I am such an addict for PvP. I honestly would have to ask you guys what the movesets are. Some of them look really cool, but I would go for utility over kind of the look and the flex. I'll tell you something I am really intrigued by is Mega Altaria.
Really?
It's a dragon fairy, so it's a dragon that resists dragon. And I mean, what is that thing weak to? I mean, of course it's weak to ice. Maybe.
But it loses
Well, what
its
else?
4 times weakness to ice, and then just gains double. So it's a little bit
Yeah.
different when it comes down to Mega Evolutions. Mega Altaria would be probably still be a defining Pokemon in PvP when it comes down to it. I myself want to see like Pokemons that usually don't have that kind of niche in the metas right now. So something like maybe Mega Pinsir. Pinsir has,
Yes.
it's a good Pokemon that can, max out to a good percentage, but it doesn't have the moveset to, go through it. Maybe the Mega Evolution can give it that kind of niche to say, hey, I can finally be viable. And if they do follow the CP requirements, they max us out to maybe the Ultra League or the Master League when it comes down to it. So things like Mega Venusaur or Bulbasaur, which we already seen previously,
That's
Aggron,
pretty cool.
Heracross, those kind of Pokemons that you think that are coming through. But I do, at least my personal favorite would either be Mega Gallade or Mega Gardevoir, and see how
Okay.
those fare out. Even though they don't have a type change, they do have, some kind of like the coolest evolutions I've seen around. So we'll see how that one really works out when it comes down to it. So
Yeah,
Chris, what about you?
dude, Metacham. I'm
Oh
really
yeah.
interested to see, because supposedly, like the people that have been crunching the numbers on it, supposedly it maxes out a hundo right at 24.95. So I'm really interested to see how that shakes up the Ultra League meta, if we're able to use them in Premier Cups and everything. Because I don't know, it just looks like a really fun one to use. We don't really have that many good fighters in Ultra League.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Chief, what do you think? Like, aside from Mega Altaria, have you thought of maybe of another one that you think they have the niche to
That's
get
crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you actually, Luis. I think there's a lot of opportunity for things that don't get a lot of love to actually do really well. I'm intrigued by Mega Sableye, because Sableye is one of my favorite Pokemon in Great League. I really want to see what it can do. If it can reach Ultra League, that'd be awesome. But again, it's going to give us even more to IV Hunt, which is going to be nuts. But to your point, Chris, yeah, Ultra League. I found this out about myself this season. I really love having a counter user on my team. And for my Continentals Championships, the first one I picked was Metacham. That was my first overall pick. And I really think Ultra League needs a good counter user. There's Obstagoon and there's Toxicroak. And you're a madman to use Toxicroak. Obstagoon is kind of iffy. So if we can get a good Metacham in Ultra League, it's going to be great.
Now, those are like the underdogs when it comes down to a lot of the actual Mega Evolutions when it comes down to it. But remember, we're also getting, Mega Rayquaza, Mega
Yes.
Mewtwo, Primal Kyogre, Primal Garden, which, they're probably one of the coolest Mega Evolutions I've seen. But those kind of Pokemons, they're already viable thanks to the moveset that they're being receiving. Do you think that even the most powerful legendary Pokemons can actually have like a new niche thanks to their Mega Evolutions?
Absolutely. And you mentioned Rayquaza. I think the only thing holding that back is the fast move. Dragon Tail and Air Slash are just not very good moves. If you give Mega Rayquaza something like Dragon Breath, that thing is going to be a monster. It's going to melt everything in its path. And I really feel like the Mega Evolutions are going to be so overpowered. I'm really curious to see how Niantic handles it.
Yeah.
I think if you guys have seen the CP work on Mega Mewtwo, I think Y, it's got like 5,600 CP or something. Just something just godly. It's like God tier.
Well, that may be what ties in, the new level cap when you were discussing
True.
that. It breaks out to the 5,000s, and we could have Pokemon. Like, there's only one Pokemon right now without Mega Evolution that can reach that much, and it's one of those Pokemon that you don't want to use because it's like the worst Pokemon to use.
Yeah.
But that's the differences. It's like, will level 50 will actually get us to that point? Do we have to reach that level before we go through? Bye bye Rayquaza. And then will that actually implement it to what Mega Evolution says now? Following the CP charts is probably like the best way to go about it, but Pokemon Go is always innovating when it comes down to the releases of new Pokemons or new mechanics in the game. So maybe we'll see something different. Maybe we'll see something that can change PvP forever. We don't know yet, but it's coming. So we just have to wait for the right moment and the right time. When once Mega Evolutions comes around, I'm sure that even you, SpeediestChief, will be like, okay, this is the meta. This is what we're gonna be doing. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's talk about this Pokemon and this Pokemon, and I'm just like, good luck.
Yeah, I know he's been talking primarily about PvP, but I feel like Shadows kind of revolutionized the raiding game in a way. I mean, if you have a Hundo, Shadow, Tyranitar, the DPS is just crazy. I'm really excited to see these megas in raids as well.
Yeah.
How that translates. That's going to be nuts.
Yeah, definitely. Earlier, actually this morning, I got a 96 Machop from a Rocket one.
Whoa.
But I am more advocate of the Hondos, and I don't like seeing the no ones of it. So, and
Oh,
it's actually
no.
my very first Hondo Machamp too. I never really.
Oh,
for
no.
it. So yes, you will probably kill me, but I did purify this Pokemon. Because
You're
I
one of
wanted
those.
Yes, I am one of
Guys,
those.
It is the Purified podcast.
Did you? It is the Purified podcast. Two things. I have purified a Machamp, so Chris, hate me if you want to. The second thing, guys, did you see that? I don't know where it was, but I saw a text string where somebody was in a chat and they got a Hundo Shadow Mewtwo. Go
Yes.
And then their buddy was like, "Go ahead and purify it," and they freaking did.
No.
And they were like, "I was just kidding. I was joking. Why did you do that?" And they were just freaking out. And it's just,
no.
oh,
My friends
and
would
you
do
can't, you can't take that one back. That sucks.
See, if I would have gotten something that was coming close to a Hondo Mewtwo, I would have actually purified it just because, again, I like the Hondo part of it, even if it's like a niche for PvP when it comes down
I
to
can
it.
see that.
But not a Hondo just by Shadow.
It was a Hundo Shadow. Yeah,
Oh
there's
my
no reason to
God.
purify.
Oh my god.
No
I mean,
reason
like,
at all.
Especially look at the Shadow Mewtwo. I mean, we each got some pretty decent ones. I mean, I got lucky enough to get a 93. It would be a Hundo if I, did that, but it's going to be doing more damage as a Shadow,
And it looks way cooler.
I mean,
Yeah, I like the little
to-
electric
Yeah,
things.
I know, right? To the contradict, what Shadows can do, being weak to even stronger moves when it comes down to it is like, it's kind of like the thing. But if you know how to well balance your teams with the Shadow Pokemon that you have, or, all Shadows if you want to, you can see that, Shadows can be a thing. Now, do you think that Niantic should also implement that to Purified Pokemons? Purify the whole, niche to actually playing the Tingle Rocket is to catch the Pokemons and purify them, or release them when it comes down to it. But you think that Purified Pokemons can also have that kind of busted part of it if you purify them? Do you think maybe it should be higher than Shadow, or maybe just a bit lower? What do you think, Chief?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. And it all goes back to the direction that Niantic wants to take it. Because I didn't we read somewhere like a while back that purified Pokemon would do more damage to Shadows? Or am I just kind of making that up?
No,
I'm pretty
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay. Because I feel like if you were to go into a match and you were fighting a Shadow Machamp and you pull out Purified Sableye and you hit it with Return, I mean, it's already going to almost one-shot it. But if it did more damage, that'd be kind of cool. Like a battle of Shadows versus Light kind of take on its own role in PvP, which would actually be really interesting.
Yeah.
So you could have just imagine like in a tournament, the Shoutcasters are going over the match and your opponent's final Pokemon comes out like, oh no, this isn't good. He's going to lose the 2 shields. Doesn't matter what he does here. And then you pull out your purified Pokemon and they're like, holy crap, this changes the whole game. This is it. This is the truth right here. So
Yeah,
maybe there's potential for that. I do think purified doing more damage to Shadows would be cool. I do like Return on some Pokemon, but it's mostly a product of their attack stat.
Yeah.
Sableye with Return is, of course, overpowered as hell, and it's because the attack is so high. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they necessarily need like a general buff, but I think the Purified versus Shadow is kind of...
Yeah, that's the whole niche when it comes down to purifying Shadow. So I do like that. I mean, I really like the way that you handle that, and or how you think Purify can actually be something better. Maybe just to Shadows, but maybe one of these days we'll actually get like a meta full of Shadows, and people are gonna be like, that's not good. But then the Purifies come out because that's actually the next part of the meta, and then Purify against Shadow. Maybe that's that the light versus dark. Do we want to? Maybe Niantic, here you go. Here's another good idea for your next cup things.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
in the what's it called, the Sylph metas again, because they've been taking out the shadow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know. They got to figure that out. Maybe one shadow per team, or maybe, I don't know, certain shadows are allowed. I know they banned them because it just changes the mechanics of the game,
Yeah.
but it'd be really cool to have.
Definitely. So, but yeah, that's well. We still have a couple more questions, but one of the things that we already talked about a lot is that your content creation and all that. We were wondering, why you were not putting content as much as you used to, and you skip a couple of cups just to make sure that of course, you're probably focusing on continentals when it comes down to it.
Oh, yeah.
So now that season 2 is over and season 3 is looming to be announced, the World Championship coming in the next few months. What are your plans for the rest of 2020 aside from what you already told us? But what do you hope to accomplish? What do you want to concentrate to return to the metas or anything like that? What are you hopeful for the rest of 2020 when it comes down to it?
Yeah, so if I could take this bull by two different horns, I will say the first horn and the first side of it was the Sylph Arena, and I feel like getting to the North American Championships and then being able to win that and moving on to Worlds, I do think that is a competitive goal for me to do as well as I can at Worlds. We're going to see how that happens. There's a small part of me that is a little bit nervous about publishing all this content because it'll kind of give insight into my thought processes. For example, I already have it planned to go back and watch the streams and watch the Latin American finals, watch the European and the Asia Pacific ones, because I want to see how these other players like to play, what kind of team compositions they have, what they like to lead, what their different strategies are, how good they are at sack swaps, everything like that. So there's going to be a lot of studying that's going on, but again, it's not like I'm doing anything that a lot of these other top battlers aren't already doing. I mean, Tho Technical, Arrow, Toshi going on stream, and they reveal everything they're thinking, and they're still like best in the world. So there's probably no reason for me to have that kind of that thing holding me back. So we'll see how it goes. But in terms of Go Battle League, the other half of the question, I feel like the past 2 seasons getting to rank 10 has been tough. It's been designed that way. I feel like the floodgates really opened the last week or so of season 2. I saw a lot of people hitting rank 10 within the last week, which is really great. But after 2 seasons of doing it, I have a lot of confidence that I can do it. I actually took, as well in my preparation for Continentals, I didn't play GBL for 2.5 weeks. I just totally put it down because it made me rage because everything was so random and it felt like there was no way I could win. I lead Altaria to Bastiodon or Azumarill and Venusaur. So frustrating. But I was able to pick it back up. And in, I think, 4 or 5 days, I climbed the rest of the way to rank 10. And I have a lot of confidence in myself to do that this season as well. So I'm probably not going to put as much pressure on myself. Part of the reason that the content hasn't been coming out is just because as a creator, you kind of set the tone for a lot of things. And I know a lot of people like to watch the content, and I just want to give people good advice. And if I can't pull off a 5-0 with a team, then is it really worth showing? And then, the whole other question of that is, do you really want to just make videos of you winning all the time, or do you want to make videos because you enjoy it and people like to watch you? So I definitely am going to take GBL a little bit easier and then try to compete as well as I can still.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, we still have another half of the year, so hopefully, that kind of content that we will be hopefully expecting soon will be, helpful to what GBL and South Arena could be, so, but, we're excited for Worlds and, whatever GBL is in store for us for the rest of the time. But yeah, definitely. So, Chris, you want to actually ask in the next question there?
Oh yeah. So, I know that your icon, is Ash in the hat and everything. Is he actually your favorite character from the Pokemon series, or does somebody else warm your heart a little bit more?
That's cool. That's a cool question. So, yeah, no, I've actually never been asked that. I'm kind of feeling like I'm on the spot. So,
Sorry.
no, not at all. I feel like Ash, in the same way that you have Harry Potter, you have a character that's just somebody that you can relate to, who's just trying to do the best they can in every situation they're in. And then you have that same motto of never giving up. Even his first Pokemon with Pikachu was such a struggle. I mean, nobody's forgotten that Pikachu wanted nothing to do with Ash. It was just really tough. And his goal is to be a Pokemon master. And if you think about it on sort of simple terms, if you set out to do something you're really interested in, and then the first time you tried to do it, there's just so much resistance, most people would give up.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a testament to if you try something and you stick with it, and you really feel that you're right for it, and you give it your all, you can actually make a lot of progress. So yeah, Ash is definitely one of my favorites. I always thought Lance was probably the coolest Elite Four, going all the way back to Kanto. I'm sorry, I'm a 90s kid. Going all the way back to Kanto, Lance was the best. But, yeah, I think Ash is probably my favorite main character. I was never able to really like Brock or Misty. I think they're fine, but they're not my favorites.
I'm going to tie in to the fact that you have Ash because Ash actually finally won a championship.
Yeah. It's a funny story too, guys, because I was making that logo actually because Tampa was our Tampa Pokemon Go community was raising money for feeding Tampa Bay, to feed the homeless in the area. And I made that logo, and halfway through making it, I was like, man, this logo sucks. Nobody's going to like this. It's just a lot of work. I was having to do the colors and everything. It was just kind of a pain. And I kind of, struggled through it. I did a few other shirts as well. We were able to raise some money for feeding Tampa, which is great. But I needed a logo for the channel. So I just kind of picked it up and went with it. And it's worked out. Until Niantic says, until Pokemon Go company says, hey, you can't use that. It's got to
Hey, everybody has their own niche when it comes down to their actual logos and all that stuff. Like, even for me, at least one of my favorite characters in the Pokemon series is probably Steven, which is, a great champion in all around. Metagross, just like top notch is everything. I just love that Pokemon so much. I have a best buddy, Hundo, ready to go for anything. So, but either way, it's like just like to say, for us, at least we see Ash as somebody who has struggled, along the way through so many, years of battling through leagues and trying to make sure he becomes the champion, if not or not. Now he did. Now he's, wanting to go to Worlds, so maybe you can relate a little bit to that too, since, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Pokemon Journeys, he is trying to be the world champion now, so.
Hey, I just need Ash to win it, and then I feel like I have a chance.
There you go. Oh my goodness.
Come on, Ash.
Tidings. Oh my goodness. Chris, you can ask this next question. This is just a funny question.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know we've been putting you on the spot, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry about this question.
This was from my communities, just to let you know.
Okay.
This was from my boy Zombie. Okay. Sour cream and onion chips, Lay's or Pringles?
Wait, come again? What kind of chips?
Sour cream and onion, Lay's or Pringles? Which one?
It's got to be Lay's, man.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. We're good at that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's good.
Guys, did you see? I think I saw a meme. It was a Pringles can, and they were ramen flavored.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's actually...
What?
Dude, they made Baconator Lay's or Baconator Pringles recently, and I was like, "That's a heart attack in a can." There you go.
Dude, that's America.
No. Hey, it could actually be Japan. You never know. Trust me.
Hey, yeah,
Japan I can actually see a ramen pickle there. So.
Good point. Good point.
All right. So to wind down to a few things, and we're about to actually head into, of course, our recaps and what the news is about for this week. I want to make sure that we get one last question to Chief here, and and we want to see, and we want to ask, which Pokemon surprised you when you were using it for Continentals? Like, what was like your best Pokemon that you thought that could maybe destroy the meta, or maybe something that people were not expecting? What were your thoughts when you became when you went to Continentals?
Yeah, so my favorite moment of the draft. So when we actually did the draft, there were 6 banned Pokemon, and then we did a snake draft to take our picks. Mm-hmm. I actually wasn't watching the live stream. I was actually just kind of in my war room, trying to figure out what to get next. How to counter my opponents and still build a good team. So I watched the draft stream afterwards. My favorite moment of that was, okay, Metacham, good pick, I like that. And the shoutcasters looked at Golbat and they were like, okay, that makes sense too. And then they saw Lapras, like, oh man, that's an awesome pick. And then they saw Alolan Muck and they were like, wow, I can't believe Muck was still available. That's a great pick. And then I picked Fortress. I just watched King shift in his chair. It's kind of like, and of course in his mind, he's too nice to say it. In his mind, he's like, what the hell? And then I picked Blossom. And again, everybody in the room, I saw all the cameras like, wait, no Mud Boy? No this, no that? And Kakuna dived in and saved my reputation. He said, oh yeah, Blossom's a sweetheart pick from the Continentals preliminaries, and I felt like I needed a grass because I was deadly weak to ground without it. And and that just kind of worked out. But Fortress was something that I kind of like picked it up and put it in my shopping cart, and I was walking through the store, trying to decide if I wanted it or not. And then I got to the register the day of the championships, and I was like, man, I don't know if I really want this thing, but I'm stuck with it. So Fortress had a lot of interesting play, a lot of play that people didn't really expect. It did really well for me against House Stark. And I will say this in the video when I upload it, but his Mew was really hard for me to counter. I think I had Golbat with Shadow Ball, and that was probably my best chance because he had Wild Charge on it. So my water types, everything else wasn't going to work. And I was actually able to bring Fortress in and just bug bite down his Mew with 2 shields, and that was like a huge moment for me. And then the last round, the championships against Dunebug, I led Fortress in game 1, and it just totally threw a wrench into everything that he had planned because he didn't bring Venusaur on his team of 3. I think he had Gallade, which is a psychic type, weak to bug. It is fighting, so I guess it's neutral. And then you have Frostlass, ice type, which is weak to the Mirror Shot from Fortress. And his third Pokemon was Obstagoon, a dark type, weak to bug. And it was just the perfect pick in that sweet spot moment. And I'm actually working on best buddying it right now. I won't best buddy it 4 battles because it'll push the CP over 1500, but I just want the ribbon on it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, you gotta find one thing that helped you out in the long run, and well, here we are, champion it is.
It's like, yeah, this past year it's just been giving me a lot of trouble, so it's gonna give me more after you.
But 2-0 Butters was one of the shoutcasters, and he actually used a Shadow Fortress in GBL. I have a video on that coming soon, and it is nuts.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a good one from Arlo, but unfortunately, aside from the shiny, but it's just getting a good one for PvP has been somewhat okay. Hopefully, I'll get one eventually, and then of course, goodbye Stardust. But
Yeah,
so spammy.
All right, so I think this will be it for the interview, but we do have a little bit more of recaps to go. So, Chief, if you're up for it, of course, we'll want to have you to the news and updates that we have for this week. Of course, aside from GoFest just ending, we do have way more stuff to talk about. So, if you want to, you're good for it.
Yeah, I'll try to give as many helpful points as I can.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much for being part of the interview. If you want to keep on listening, for sure, just we'll keep on going. All right, so let's go ahead and go a little bit of recap right now, since we just finished GoFest. We've gone through the shinies, we've gone through PvP months, we've gone through everything that we want to do. We are now in the first week of the Ultra Unlock, which is Dragon Week. So, how you guys been with
that? Chris, you're kind of covering your face. I feel like you have something to say.
I gotta say, the amount of Gibbles has been nice. Other than that, I don't know. It is really cool how many PvP Pokemon there are. I mean, we haven't really gotten any good Dragon events in a long time. And even when we did have it, there weren't that many Dragon Pokemon in the game yet. So it's definitely really cool to see, Gibble raids and just all these cool Pokemon to hunt right now.
Yeah, what about you, Chief?
Yeah, I feel like the Dragons bring the people out. I mean, they bring people out to raids, they bring people out to hunt for them. There's something about it. It's just one of the coolest typings in the game. And I know some people have been kind of criticizing like a lot of Trapinch spawns, a lot of Swablu spawns. Guys, you got to catch them. You need the candy for it, for whatever you're going to evolve for PvP.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the amount of Dratinis and Bagon that I'm seeing. Those are both good. I mean, Dragonite's great in Master League. And then Bagon has a mega evolution that's coming down the tube here pretty soon, so that's going to be pretty interesting. Rayquaza, again, is another mega evolution. I've only caught, I think, 2 Gibbles and 2 Dinos, so I'm not super happy with it. We still have a few more days, and we just got to keep on.
So let me ask you, did those Dinos were from the research or from the wild?
Yeah, guys, I'm such an addict. I actually got a notification on my phone at 3 a.m. last night that there was a Dino at the gas station up the street from me. So I hopped in the car and I got it. It exists. It's a real thing.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
I
Yeah.
didn't believe.
Why am
I
I
didn't.
in Tampa? What? Jesus, goodness. Yeah, no, dinos have been scarce, like way lower than you think about it. There's a lot of people right now on Twitter that are just like, they're going off. They're going off because, Dino is supposed to be like the one Pokemon that you want, especially since, new shiny, new life. uh, but still, it's like one of those things where you're just like, why do you just feel like we can only get him in like eggs and all stuff? We had, all three of us are in the same area, in the same, proximity area, and we had the hurricane or tropical storm coming up and behind us in the last few hours. So we had windy weather for the
Yes.
first time in whatever months we had, the game open. But that was nice because, all the dragons were boosted and, Rayquazas were boosted, Gibbles were boosted, Dratinas were boosted. Still not a single dino. Not
Yeah.
well. Nothing. Not there. So
Yeah, it's tough sledding it. And if anybody listening to this is kind of frustrated with not getting enough dino or enough gibble, you're not alone. I hatched 9 7K eggs today. And I got a Horsey, a Swablu, a Bagon. There's a bunch of stuff I didn't.
yeah.
You know what I've been hearing a lot on Twitter? A lot of people have been saying, "Go Battle League is the way to get Dino. Not hatching 7Ks. Always go Battle League."
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's been one of those things, and I'm sure that because now Shiny Dino is a thing, and hopefully he's still in the encounter pool in Go Battle League. Time to bust up those Great League Pokemons again, because I'm sure that I'm never gonna hatch one. I'm hopeful, but my egg luck is better than Chris's when it comes down to it.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I put the grind on eggs. Trust me, even though I shouldn't be, but I like just hatching eggs. Especially when I'm at work, just like drifting around everywhere.
I respect it.
All right, but yeah, week 1, everybody's been going off like Dragon here, Dragon there, Rayquaza here, remote rating, as you guys probably already seen through most of the podcasts live here. I've been doing just like all the Rayquazas, all the Gibbles, so I want the shiny. I've been getting shiny Rayquaza, but shiny Gibble has been evading me since GoFest, and I'm just like, please, please. But it's kind of nice to actually see a little change because, just like Chris said, dragons have never been the spotlight for anything, and this is the first time in 4 years of the game that we actually get to experience having more and more dragons than usual. So it's nice to do things. I wish they would have probably maybe put Axew in some kind of way to encounter it, because that's a holdout Pokemon for a lot of people right now, and it's a Pokemon that you barely even see if you actually do get to that point. So unless you hashed it, kind of the things. But it's kind of nice. Right now Dinos should be the spotlight, but Rayquazas is more than enough for a lot of people to say, hey, let's do this thing, let's get this done, So all right, so that is mostly our recaps. There's not much. Of course, we could talk about GoFest again, but we have actually, seen and gone through GoFest. I think we are way past that, and, we are here for more news and updates for sure. So for today's research topics, Chris, do you want to talk about the very first announcement?
Really quick. Is it cool if I check my last Dino?
Oh, yeah, there we go. He has the Dino. He can still check it for shiny. He doesn't have to catch it.
Okay.
Let's see here.
Let's see if we can get this. Oh my gosh, this is the hard part.
Drum.
No.
Oh my god. I would have gone ham. I would have walked out
Oh,
of the room
you
right
would
now.
beat up
just
his
because
camera.
Yeah, I'll be like, goodbye guys. Hello.
So as SpeediestChief mentioned earlier, we are getting the Magikarp Community Day 2. It's gonna be wonderful. I'm actually excited for it.
Yeah, Magikarp Community Day is our August Community Day for this year. So leaping over mountains after living so many years, surviving in the body of water no matter how polluted it is, being an easy target for predators, and then of course, Magikarp being the spotlight for this. So I don't know, Chief, I know that, well, actually, before I actually get your opinion on this, because we actually have to make sure that people know, it's going to be on Saturday, August 8th. So really quickly, it's actually going to be next weekend on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. local time. So again, another 6-hour event. Magikarp will be, of course, appearing in a while. If you're lucky, you get a shiny Magikarp, shiny CD raids. Of course, you guys know this. Evolve it during the 2 hour afterwards of the event to get Gyarados with Aqua Tail, which PvP wise is actually a very good move for Magikarp, or I'm sorry, for Gyarados. Take a few snapshots, and of course you'll get a surprise, which we already know what probably is at this point. It takes a bit of candy to evolve Magikarps into Gyarados, so make sure that you pine up every single one you see. I'm just gonna go plus everything that I see, so it's not much difference there. There will be a special one-time purchase ticket for August Community Day, including 30 Ultra Balls, an Elite Charge TM, and 6 Star Pieces and an Incest. So, I mean, $13 is not too bad. There will be a $1 special research featuring a special story, making a splash. Follow Professor Willow as he learns the Magikarp and his epic evolution journey. And then, of course, the bonuses of this community day will be 3 times cash Stardust. And
Yes.
Incest activated during the event will last 3 hours. All right, so we went through what Magikarp is and Magikarp Community Day. So, Chief, I'm pretty sure you're also excited for this because as a competitor, you want that Stardust, right?
Yeah, I mean, triple Stardust, it wouldn't matter if it was Pidgey or Swablu or Weedle, it doesn't matter. Triple Stardust, you're going to go out there and try to grind. So my personal goal is to set a one-day catch record. And the reason for that is because the Magikarp catch rate is actually pretty high. It's actually going to be pretty easy to catch. There's going to be so many of them you can catch it with normal Pokeballs. And I just think for the 6 hours, you just have to give it your all, no matter what it is. I will say a couple of semi-advanced tips you guys might already be familiar with. Have we found out if we're getting 3-hour lures or are they just 1 hour or 30 minutes?
Lures are not going to be part of the events anytime soon. They're going with the 3-hour incest. So so you can stack up your incest and you have like a 24 hours only spending like 5 or 6 depending on what it is. But because of the whole pandemic and the worldwide health problem that we're having right now, they don't want us to go to specific places, so they won't actually activate for 3 hours if you put a lure down. But compensation, we do have something that you can be at home if you want to. So.
Yeah. So in terms of lures, if you can get to a safe place where you can get a Pokestop and you just want to maybe sit for a little while while you're eating lunch or just taking a break. If you live in the South in Florida where we are, it gets really, really hot. So if you need to kind of pace yourself at a park, I do think it's worth it to drop a glacial lure because it might give you 2nd tier, 3rd tier evolutions, and the triple Stardust is just going to be crazy with that. Secondly, I think it's important to stack your catches. So as you know, once you encounter something, you can run away from it and it saves it in your box. You can do that up to 100 times. I have been kind of crawling the internet trying to figure out what the tasks are for August. I know some of it's changed a little bit because it is Dragon Week, so you have kind of some tasks that are specific for dragons and some that aren't.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can stack 2nd tier, 3rd tier evolutions in your box, a 3rd tier evolution is worth 3,375 dust when you have the triple dust and the star piece. So for example, for myself, I've stacked 4 Rhydons and I think 8 Gravelers in my box. And if you catch the 2nd stage evolutions, I think Combuskin is an option, a couple other ones as well. Save those until Saturday, because once you catch that, it's just going to make a huge impact on your Stardust savings.
Definitely. Yes, like you mentioned, we'll actually be talking about what the research encounters are soon. But actually, if you go to Leak Doc, they have a chart of all the research tags that you can get from stops. And, he lists most of the ones that you can get through most of it. I am looking through the evolution ones you can get from Winter Raid, you get a Monferno.
Mm-hmm.
From the Hatch and Egg, you can get a Poliwhirl. A Combustion from Evolve a Pokemon. And then... actually, those are the only 3 that are triple evolution or, 2nd stage evolution or 1st stage evolutions. After that, I don't see anything that may want you to catch, but I mean, if you can stack them, of course, go ahead. But yeah, those are the only evolutions ones. Before we had Gravital and stuff, and I do remember getting a couple of them through the research breakthrough boxes, but I guess they said no, thank you for the rest of it. Oh my goodness. All right. So yes, community day is gonna be pretty good. I'm probably just gonna stay at home, even though I have the Stardust to want, but
Yeah, Mr. 4 million over here.
3.7. I've been spending a lot of Stardust. I did.
Dude, I
got
just hit 1 mil.
All right. Well, we get this giveaway going, of course. Let's talk about what the next announcement is, and of course, it will be the makeup day for GoFest. Now, as you guys know, and probably from our experiences, GoFest on day one was kind of glitchy in some of those biomes. I'm sure, Chief, you experienced that throughout your GoFest experience. But they do want to, make up for that, especially because it happened all around the world, aside from probably the Californian or Pacific's time, just because they finally got the glitches out of the way, thank God. But just like they mentioned, they did announce that they're going to be a makeup day, which will be on Sunday, August 16 from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. local time, so it's only going to be a few hours. Whenever players who purchase a Pokemon Go Fest tickets around the world. So the three habitats that are going to appear during the time will be the Fire Habitat, the Water Habitat, and the Friendship Habitat. They do say, we appreciate, your patience and the passion for Pokemon Go. And, there will be a special free box featuring 2 Incest and 2 remote raid passes. So, claim it whenever you feel like it. Gift open during the event can obtain rare candies. Why don't you just say guarantee, just like you were supposed to? And then Incest during the activity will last 1 hour. So, having a makeup day for those kind of glitches. Thank you, Niantic. Hashtag thank you, Niantic. You always listen to the community. But what are your thoughts? Like, you guys think that we're getting what we needed from the beginning, or?
I mean, personally, I just remember I was definitely cursing a lot on my phone for not being able to click on the things from the incense, especially during the fire, because I really wanted to get a really good 0 attack Alolan Marowak personally. But I mean, it got cleared up fairly soon, and then the only issue was not being able to see the friendship for a while, which I wasn't too concerned about. I mean, I'm one of the people that just keeps using rare candies all the time, so I have enough space. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. I know some people are really just sad that they don't get to click on more Gibbles, pure letter. But I mean, we didn't really get any issues during that, so I definitely understand us not getting it back. Definitely hyped for it.
I mean, for me, it's mostly Gibble is already here with me, so I'm just like, as you guys know, I'm doing this Gibble right now. But the other ones will be pretty nice. What about you, Chief? Do you think that this is more than enough for us players?
Yeah, I think it's great. And just to piggyback off what you and Chris are saying, I do think Niantic listened to the community. There were a lot of reports of outages. For me, significantly, I'm surprised to hear, Chris, that it was Fire Hour for you. For me, it was actually Friendship Hour. I couldn't even get into my friends list at all.
Yeah.
I kept on opening it, and it just said it was stuck. And I think I saw on Twitter, correct me if I'm wrong, but at G2G Media actually confirmed with Niantic that we're able to open 30 gifts and get those 30 rare candies. So it's not quite 200 like we hoped, but the 30 is still really nice. So I'm excited to get those rare candies, especially with all these rare dragons like Axew and Gibble that we just can't seem to get enough candy for already.
Yeah, definitely. I did remember actually having problems during the Fraction biome. And
couldn't even invite people.
I will probably never forget this moment because it was like at the tail end last few minutes of the biome. And then we finally got the chance to get into our friends list, and we were like, oh cool, we actually got the bonus. It's 3 minutes before it ends. I'm like, cool. I don't think I'll be able to do anything. So I mean, it was nice. I do have quite a bit of rare candy, so it wasn't really that much niche that I need at the moment. I usually save it for anything that I want to power up instantly. Especially, Pokemons that I don't get the candy for. But yeah, no, I do thank Niantic for this, and, having to go through a little bit extra experience what GoFest was really like, especially if you have bought a ticket, because everybody here did. It will be nice. And again, hashtag thank you, Niantic, for listening to us when it comes down to it. So, last but not least, we do have a little bit final news here that they announced not too long ago, and this was the August Breakthrough Box and Spotlight Hours. for the month of August. So it's time for a new month, new research, just like Speedy has said. Saturday, August 1st, which was yesterday, to Tuesday, September 1st, Scraggy, the shedding Pokemon, will be available on Research Breakthrough Box. Now, Scraggy, it's been a holdout Pokemon for a lot of people because it's only been in GBL and the one of the events that we have with Dark type Pokemon and Ninjas. So it's kind of nice to see it. It's kind of nice that you need the candy. They did not mention extra candy of anything. They just say, hey, here you go. You can catch it. Get to your box. But yeah, so Scraggy being an awesome Pokemon. I do want my Hundo. I don't know if you guys want to, of course, but I'm pretty sure I don't really know the answer at this point. But still, go ahead.
Always Hundo.
So I will say Scrafty is a really interesting Pokemon. In terms of GBL, being a dark type, it is weak to Fairy and Fighting, so it does have a lot of kind of threats in Great League. But if you can get it into Ultra League, it's actually a Pokemon that can beat things like Lapras or Giratina, other kind of Psychic types like Cresselia. It actually stands a chance as long as you can dodge the Moonblast because of the foul play that it has. And then you can actually, you can actually further boost your attack with Power Up Punch. So it's actually a pretty good Pokemon to have. For Ultra League, you do want the Hundo. It's going to max out just under 2,500. So if you have any lucky traits standing by, maybe it's a good time to.
I got quite a bit of them, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, so August, I mean, aside from all of the Ultra Unlocks that we have, so we have so much to worry about. We also have our Spotlight hours for the rest of the month. So on Tuesday, August 4, we'll have Horsey in the Spotlight hour and earn twice the candy for catching the Pokemon. So more candy for something we had for 4 years ago. But guys, shiny, rank 1 shinies. Chief, I'm sure you'll find one eventually.
I'll try my best. I'll share the screenshot with you guys if I do. I will say a pro tip. Pro tip for Horsey Spotlight Hour. If you want to just run your gacha and just kind of catch everything that's around, but maybe if you're low on Rayquaza candy or Gibble or Salamence candy even, you can do those raids and the double candy still applies to the raid bosses. So while you're actually catching things, you can do the raids at the same time to kind of buff your candy reserves.
Yeah, definitely. So that's still doing through the Dragon Week. So luckily we will have double candy when it comes down to it. So make sure you do your raids, even though Horsey is not the one that you want. But anyways.
Yeah.
But then we have Tuesday, August 11th. Sableye will be in the Spotlight hour, and you'll earn twice as candy as transferring the Pokemon. So Sableye, hey, who wants the Hundo shiny somewhere?
So many PvP Pokemon, man.
I know, right? They're preparing it for something.
I really felt like day 2 of GoFest was kind of a nod to PvP being the future.
Yeah.
Because just think, guys, if you never PvP before and every single stop you spun on Sunday was a rocket and you didn't want to battle, just imagine. There probably wasn't any fun. So I do think all these PvP Pokemon that we're getting in these Spotlight hours, I think it is kind of preparing us for something. What that is, I don't know.
Definitely. The one difference that I see from day 2 of GoFest is that all the rocket stats were like insanely easy. You can literally mount the Pokemons with just like one Pokemon and it would have been fine. Whoever was
we call that gateway PvP.
I know, right? It's like, hey, here's all the easy rocket stuff. So I'm sure you will get to go Battle League and then just get destroyed with your.
I'm pretty good at PvP.
I thought I was really good. Anyways. All right, so the next week after that will be August 18. Venipede will be in the Spotlight hour, and you earn twice the experience for evolving the Pokemon. As we have mentioned, level 50 is on its way, so if you want to get to that final itch before level 50 is finally announced, and then take a screenshot before your legacy experience goes away, make sure you do that because you want to get to that point. And I'm sure that whoever is racing for number 1, even though you can't beat Brendan Tan on this, I'm sure that you want to get as much experience as possible before level 50 is fully announced for us. So we'll see how that one goes. And of course, Venipede being Chris's favorite Pokemon.
Is it really?
I shiny hunted that thing for so long. It took me forever.
He's trying it in Sword and Shield in his streams, and it took him like, I don't know, like 24,000 or 2,400 encounters.
That's about right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's RNG for you. You know, you either get the shiny so quickly or you don't get it at all. That's usually how it works. So, and then the final Tuesday, August 25th of 2020, will be Geodude will be in the Spotlight Hour, and you'll earn twice the Stardust for catching the Pokemon. I mean, Stardust is always something that we want. Geodude being a wonderful shiny Pokemon, but I'm sure that he has his niches in different ways. I hope that both Geodude and Alolan Geodude will be spawning, but that's just like, you know, a farewell gift or wish when it comes down to it. So.
Interesting. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. So, and then lastly, of course, we just want to make sure Dragon Week is still going on. It will be going on until August 7th. So make sure you do that. And then Enigma Week will be beginning on Friday, August 7th. So just as Dragon Week ends, the next one will come around. And of course, we'll have the wonderful Pokemon of the Deoxys coming back. Not Defend Deoxys, and this has been confirmed. Normal type Deoxys will be available. And of course, the shiny will be released. So...
it's cool.
I'm sure that a lot of people will come down to it. I hope that one day, you know, you'll be able to change it when it comes down to it, but, you know, that's Niantic for you. So
it's the Margie meme. I just think it's neat. Oh my gosh.
You think that...
It is one of the best color schemes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, once the shiny is released, usually all the forms will come around. Do remember that week also we do have unknown in raids. So if they do release the other letter shiny, good luck. Oh my goodness.
As soon as I told Pure Letter that, he's like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, if you actually go to your Pokédex right now in the game and you do go through unknown, this is actually something that Reversal noted, because usually when you get the shiny, you get all the shiny forms in the dex. So you're like, okay, maybe this is what happened. Now, if you actually go to your unknowns in your Pokédex, you see a separate line that says shiny form, and you only see the one shiny or whatever shiny you got already of the unknown. So every other one you have to catch.
Dude, that's the first thing I thought during GoFest too. I was like, well, I only need to get the one.
So yeah. Did you get any shiny unknowns in GoFest there, Speedy?
I did not. I just got them for the Stardust, just to catch them, but I did not. My prize unknown is a lucky Hundo question mark.
Dude.
Nice. That is nice.
It's between the question mark and the exclamation for my favorite.
My favorite unknown is the unknown S that I found just randomly in the wild when they were first released. And I was hunting with my friends, and then all of a sudden, one of my friends in the back of the car, they say, "Oh, an unknown," and we were like, "What?" It's like coming out like that. Oh my goodness! Oh, that's crazy. That's awesome.
That is
Kind of hard to see.
Yeah, no, but it's still pretty.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, for those of you
Yeah,
that is weird.
Yeah, and you guys can see it in the stream also too. I'm actually showing the shiny unknown and of course how the dex is. So you know where that's it. But you know. Interestingly enough, that lucky unknown, or not that lucky unknown, the unknown that I actually got in the wild was a 98 IV. And I was like, wow. It's like, I mean, that was the only unknown I ever caught in the wild, aside from, you know, the event. So I'm never going to delete that. And it was 98. So I'm like, I'll take it.
I was going to say,
it would be nice if it was the Hundo, though. Trust me, I would have actually gone bananas if that would have been the case. But, yeah. But yeah, so Enigma Week, make sure you guys do that. It's gonna go all the way to August 14, and then after that we'll have the Unova Week, which Emolga will be the one Pokemon that we're probably gonna see in the Flying Cup. But then of course other Pokemon we'll definitely be talking about and reviewing those things as the weeks come along, guys. So don't forget to tune in for the next few weeks. So yeah, so that's all the news we got. Coming out of GoFest, we wanted to make, hopefully they wanted to make sure that, the month of August is already packed jam with the news and updates, but we hope we get a little bit more in the next few days because, I don't know, I like having events, I just don't like being overwhelmed with them for a long time, so maybe they're taking these 3 weeks to really prepare for the next few months because, we still have way more news and, Generation 6 and Megas are going to be a big, big thing once it comes down. So we'll see how that really works, and so A little bit of miscellaneous news to cover up just a few things. GBL, or at least Niantic support, they said GBL is not going to require, when they go to downtime, for players to wait for the downtime. So when they say, oh, we're going to go and do a maintenance update to GBL, it will not go down for maintenance for anybody. So do you guys think this is a good thing, a bad thing? What are your thoughts?
I gotta wait till I see what happens. I'm really curious if I'm gonna be like mid-match and it's just gonna be like, yeah, your opponent's just wiped you. I'm sorry, you're gone.
That's already a glitch, anyways. Chief, what about you?
Yeah, I feel like it's just another testament to how much of a pillar that GBL has become. So prior to this, Niantic would have to take it down for server maintenance just because they couldn't work on the actual code and have it running at the same time. But it shows that they made it a priority and taken steps to allow people to play it constantly, 24 hours a day. So it just kind of shows you that they're taking it seriously and they want people to have access to it. And it's too important for them to bring down every few days for maintenance. So it shows me that they care and they're working on the problems. And hopefully desync and all these other issues will get sorted out soon. But it's a very troubling thing. You guys saw the actual Jesus exploit.
Oh my God.
He had a rooted phone. Yeah, he had a second phone that was rooted, and he had it all the way down. It just I don't understand the technical aspects of it, but that is something really hard for a platform to control. So Niantic is working on the problem. We have seen them tweet about it before, and I feel like this is just another step towards making a very smooth and clean GBL experience for everybody.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I agree. You probably said that, 100%, what everybody thinks about how GBL is really going through. I'm sure there will be, there are people that are going to be saying, why is the lag happening? This is like this. Niantic, you suck. I'm like, so. Little crybabies that really want to go through this. But, I mean, I understand their concerns. They want to do good. They want to get to rank 10.
Want to get rank 10, yeah.
Yeah, they want to get, whatever special Pokemon. I really do got to do my batches so that way I can get, to the Dino because I really want a shiny too. So.
Rank 7, boy.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah. So I mean, good on them. They don't require downtime for any maintenance, but I don't know. We'll see how when it happens. The next maintenance, I'm sure they will be coming out pretty soon to share the news and updates, of course, of the Flying Cup and everything. So, and then finally, the special bonuses, of course, have been extended. So if you once again go to your Today tab, you'll see that the special bonuses that we have has been all extended through the month of August. I know that the world's still going through a lot for sure. So it's nice that, you don't have to worry, especially now that raid invites are a thing. And I'm sure that people want to keep doing the extra damage that you want, especially for Rayquaza, especially for the Oxus, and especially for the Unknowns. So definitely a lot going there. We didn't mention it, but I did say that in the last week of the Ultra League or the Ultra Unlock, we have Genesect, of course, Genesect. Being a shiny, being released in that week. Man, I'm gonna go through a lot of money.
It's gonna be a cool one.
Oh my god!
As much as I love Ray, I do gotta get a shiny Genesect too.
Yeah.
I think it's red.
Yeah, it is fully red. If you actually watch the movie, you see that Genesect, shiny Genesect is like part of the movie. So cool. But yeah, that's actually everything that we have for you guys today. I want to thank SpeediestChief for actually joining us once again as one of our very first and continuing guests here on the Purified Podcast. Every time you bring something amazing, and of course from zero to hero, just like this podcast is about today. So.
Absolutely. You put on a great show, man, and you cover everything so well, so succinctly. I think the back and forth is great. Chris, Luis, it's always a pleasure coming on the show. And I'll come on anytime you want me to. Anytime I can lend a hand, offer something that is informative and people actually want to see, I'm all about it. But if I'm too boring and if I talk for too long, just like.
Hey man, we'll do our our collaborations on our channels. If you actually need some help on Twitch, just let us know. We are getting a little bit of what the field is about. So if you need the help, call us. We will happily help you on any settings or anything that you need. And if we can, Chris and you can actually go through some matches around the world. So
yeah, huge
awesome.
fan. Would love to throw hands in the future.
So we'll
do
get
it.
our friend codes ready, and then let's get that best friend going, and the lucky trades and everything. So we'll see for sure. But
Cool.
before we end the podcast and we do our own plugins, of course, Chief, you can go ahead and any socials that you want people to follow you at. We know you have your YouTube or anything, anywhere that our community can find us. Go ahead.
Yeah, just two places for right now. The first is SpeediestChief 2 on YouTube. If you want to see cooking videos, leave out the eyes because then you'll get Speedy as chef, and that'll be a fun time. But if you want PvP, then leave the eyes in. If you want to find me on Twitter, Twitter scrambled my name. It's Chief2Speediest. So you can follow me there. I try to post informative things like maps, or excuse me, not maps, but calendars of upcoming events and like that, so that you can keep track of everything that's going on in the PvP world that Niantic has built for us.
Yeah, definitely. So make sure that if you're listening that you've go follow him again. The champion of the North Americans. I'm pretty sure you want to see what he has in store for you guys. But yeah, so once again, thank you so much everybody for listening. If you want to keep on on the show and you want to keep track, and if you want to listen to your drive at work, we're also on podcast services, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and more. So if you want to keep on the grind and you can sit down and watch YouTube all the time, even though this is a live podcast, you can check us out there, and we'll definitely have the episode out for you guys in the next few days. You can also email us at the PurifiedPodcast at gmail.com. You can also text and voice messages at 941-417-9243. So that way, if you have questions or concerns or anything, just let us know. If you want to tell us about your day or how things went, we want to know from you guys. So, and of course, don't forget to check us out at the PurifiedPodcast.com, the Professor Network, just everything that they do and wonderfully. So, yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Chris, thank you once again for joining us for this wonderful podcast.
Always a pleasure, and definitely very, very fun today.
Definitely. And Chief, thank you very much for sticking with us for the last hour and a half. If you need some water, go ahead and get them right now because I'm pretty sure we're going to need them.
For sure. Thank you, gentlemen. Always a pleasure. Great show.
All right, Chris, you want to take us away?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay. If you guys want to, check us out next week, come on by. We're going to be having a fun time every week for sure. And, it's been a real good pleasure. I'm a huge fan of SpeediestChief, so it's always a pleasure to see him drop by, especially after winning such a big tournament. And hope you guys all have a good week. Get your shinies, post them, show us them. It'll be awesome. Okay? Peace out.
Have a good night, guys.